For Abdelmalek Sellal, Algeria's newly appointed prime minister, there was no honeymoon period following his nomination on September 4th. President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's former election campaign manager says he has a lot on his plate right now. Given the difficult economic situation the country is going through, there could be social turmoil with the return of trade unions after the summer break. Algerians have been complaining about the rising cost of living. In June, consumer prices rose by more than 8%. There have been bread and water shortages, frequent power cuts, and a shortage in social housing, all underscoring simmering public discontent.
Those in power have been baffled by the Arab Spring. They are giving away wage increases without any productive counterparts.
The technocrat Abdelmalek Sellal is seen as a man of consensus, more flexible and less radical than his predecessor Ahmed Ouyaya. But it seems he's pursuing the same economic policies. Finance Minister Karim Judy has remained in the cabinet. The top priority is the fight against unemployment. The official rate of those out of work dropped to 10% in 2010, after peaking at 30% at the start of the millennium. However, more than 20% of young people are still without jobs. Many analysts believe this is a ticking bomb waiting to go off.
Between 2004 and 2011, Algeria's growth was 3%. It should have been 10%.
In order to create more jobs, the Algerian economy needs to be more dynamic. But after growing 2.4% last year, GDP is expected to grow by just over 3% this year and 3.4% in 2013, according to the International Monetary Fund, far from the 5 to 6% expected in sub-Saharan Africa. Income from oil and gas represents 98% of Algeria's exports, but the economy has been dependent upon the fluctuating price of crude. The country's foreign exchange reserves reached $190 billion in July. Thanks to oil and gas revenues, the government is planning to invest more than $280 billion in 2013. New housing and public infrastructure projects are expected to create 2 million new jobs in the next 2 years. But a 2009 report by the World Bank underlines the futility of certain investments, while others were overvalued by between 30 to 40%. Algerian business leaders have repeatedly criticized government policy and have spoken in favor of encouraging the domestic private sector. In 2012, Algeria dropped 3 places in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. Tired of being confronted with bureaucracy, difficulties in finding land and financing, the largest private Algerian company, Cevital, is now looking to invest in sub-Saharan Africa. 90% of Algerian businesses are family-run. They are not strong enough to compete with international companies. There are numerous economic challenges ahead of the Algerian new prime minister. To begin with, diversifying the economy and not just relying on oil.
It is easier to import than to produce locally. The other issue is that you tend to calm public anger by giving away salaries without political counterpart. Still, I am no pessimist. Algeria has great potential, but right now it is the status quo. No one wants to change anything.
It remains to be seen whether Mr. Abdelmalek Sellal is the man of the moment.